Tyler Hero beats the Orlando Magic on a buzzer beater. It's never about the shot, of course. How Jalen Suggs let his emotions get the best of him and what that means for the Magic today on Locked On Magic.
You are Locked On Magic, your daily Orlando Magic podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
And you are indeed Locked On Magic. Today is December 27th, 2024. My name is Philip Rossman-Reich. I'm the senior writer over at OrlandoMagicDaily.com. You can find me on Twitter at PhilipRR_OMD. On today's episode of Locked On Magic, the Orlando Magic fall to the Miami Heat, buzzer beater by Tyler Hero with a half second left, blown 10-point lead in the fourth quarter. Why all of that comes down to one thing: how Jalen Suggs and the Orlando Magic, to that extent, control their emotions. The good and the bad of the Magic's way of doing things without Paolo, Banchero, and Franz Wagner. We'll get to that coming up here in just a moment. First, we want to thank you again for making Locked On Magic part of your day every day. No matter when you listen to us, whether it's first thing in the morning, whether it's right when we upload, we truly appreciate you making Locked On Magic part of your day every day. And you can make Locked On Magic an even bigger part of your day with the Locked On Magic daily newsletter. One stop for ultimate team and league coverage delivered right to your inbox. Sign up for free now at LockedOnDaily.com. That's LockedOnDaily.com, and start your day with the all-new free Locked On Magic newsletter. Today's episode of Locked On Magic is also brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel. The NFL playoffs are almost here, but it's not too late to get in on the regular season action with FanDuel, because right now, new customers can finish the season with strong with $250 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. I want to start this conversation like this. Jalen Suggs has come a long way. He has worked very, very hard to find an inner peace and to find a way to roll with the punches better and to take adversity better and to do all the things the Magic need him to do. Jalen Suggs, it always feels like, is walking this very careful tightrope. He is an emotional guy. He wears his emotions on his sleeve, and the Magic want that. The Magic don't want to lose their emotion. They don't want to lose what makes them special, and that is how hard they play, how hard they try, and all of that. And sometimes that tips over the wrong way. Sometimes you're trying too hard. Sometimes you're too invested when you need to step back and look at the bigger picture. There was a moment toward the end of Thursday's game against the Miami Heat. Magic lose 89-88. We'll talk more about that in a minute. There's a moment toward the end of the game where Jalen Suggs was upset with the officials. You could see it in his face. After every shot, after every play, he was turning to the officials and very easily could have gotten a technical foul. But he got to the free throw line, got a foul call, and he was starting to talk to the refs again. And Kentavious Caldwell-Pope had to grab him, like get in front of him, kind of grab him by the face and like talk him down a little bit. That's fine. Like, again, that fieriness, that feistiness, that's what we want out of Jalen Suggs. But there's something else in play now, too. Jalen Suggs has grown up in a lot of ways. And even in this game, 29 points. To count on Jalen Suggs for 29 points a week ago, a month ago, or, however long ago, 2 years ago, would have been insane. You would never have been able to count for Jalen Suggs for 29 points. So just be calm and level-headed enough to do that. The Magic are counting on Jalen Suggs to do a lot. He is the emotional center of this team, regardless of who's healthy, but especially now with the players the Magic are missing. Jalen Suggs is more important than any player on the team. And how he goes with his emotional state and how he's reacting things is how the rest of the team's going to go. So you look at the score. You can see it on the rundown if you're watching on YouTube. You can look at the score. If you listen to this, you know the score, 89-88 Heat. You can look at the score and guess what Jalen Suggs' emotional state was in this game. He was a little all over the place. And again, sometimes that is a good thing. I'm not going to tell Jalen Suggs to stop being who he is. But if we're going to have Jalen Suggs be the Magic's best player, and it's going to be that way for the next 2 weeks at least, If he's going to be the Magic's best player, that means sometimes you got to take the bad. And in this case, the bad was 7 turnovers. He had 4 turnovers in the fourth quarter. He had several bad shot decisions in the fourth quarter. As Orlando is trying to cling to a 10-point lead, a lead that they had nursed and kept alive throughout the course of the game, a lead that the Magic had beaten back the Heat over and over and over again throughout the course of the game. They went up 14-0 right off the bat, led by 17 in the first quarter. And while Orlando did not put the game away early, they did not go for the kill like they probably needed to. Turnovers were a big part of that story. The Magic still had control and still should have won. But Alec Burks scored 6 quick points off the start of the fourth quarter. The Magic continued to give up 3-pointers. They missed 3-point shots of their own as they struggled to break down and get to the interior of the Heat zone defense. And you can start to see the frustration build, specifically in Suggs. Again, I call out Jalen Suggs only because he is a team leader. Because right now, he is their best player. And the rest of the team is going to follow him. If he is involved with the refs, if he is distracted by the officiating or distracted by calls or doing something wrong, the rest of the team is going to follow him. That's the reality of leadership. And I'm sorry, Jalen, it has been thrust on you. And I'm sure I'm not telling him anything he doesn't already know. We don't want him to rein his emotions in too much because that's what makes him great. But he cannot make the mistakes that he made down the stretch of this game. He cannot make the mistakes that cost this team the lead. Forced them to have to go into scramble mode to get back. Missed a free throw late in the game, by the way, as well. Forced the team into a scramble mode to get back into this thing. Became a liability and a bit of a chucker on offense rather than someone who's getting the ball moving, getting guys in the right spot, and making his teammates better. Again, Jalen Suggs finishes with 29 points, but just 2 assists against 7 turnovers. So he's 10 for 21, 2 for 11 from 3. In the fourth quarter, Suggs scored only 5 points, 1 for 4, 0 for 3 from 3, 2 rebounds, 4 turnovers. The game is not won or lost in one moment. The Magic rallied. They were down by 5 with about 3 minutes to play. They got Jalen Suggs to make a free throw, split a pair of free throws. Kentavious Caldwell-Pope hit a 3. Orlando dug out a stop. Trevelyan Queen got to the basket, got to the paint. Finally, Orlando only had 6 points in the paint in the fourth quarter. The Magic got to the paint finally. He missed a shot, but Goga Bitadze somehow tipped it back in, gave the Magic a 1-point lead, gave them that chance to get the win. And then Tyler Hero makes a really difficult 19-foot pull-up shot with half a second remaining to beat the Magic. Jalen Suggs' 3-pointer was ultimately ruled after the buzzer. Didn't go in anyway. The Magic led this entire game. They were the better team. They didn't shoot well. They turned the ball over a ton. They dragged the Heat into the mud with them. And if not for Miami having a really good shooting night, but some shooters, the Magic did not care if they shot the ball, making shots, the Magic would have won this game. This is one where the Magic could have buried a key rival, could have gotten a really nice win, ensured a winning homestand. Not for nothing. I believe so. Hold on. Now I'm blanking. Yeah, 3 wins on this homestand, I think. I'll worry about the math later. To ensure another critical win without Franz Wagner, you take him where you can get him. Instead, the Magic have this empty feeling. They have this feeling they left one on the board because guess what? They did leave one on the board. This one is one we will think about at the end of the season. Hopefully it will not cost the Magic very much. But right now, without Paolo, Banchero, and without Franz Wagner, everyone takes their cues from Jalen Suggs. And it's been a roller coaster with Suggs. Let's not pretend otherwise. It has been a roller coaster with him. There is a reason why the Magic want Paolo or Franz in every lineup, why they don't anchor lineups with Jalen Suggs very often, why the lineups that Jalen Suggs anchors tend to struggle, at least when everybody's closer to health. Right now, the lesson for Jalen needs to be he has to be the example for everyone else. Play with passion, play with energy, play with joy. All that stuff matters. But when you play with frustration, when you play with anger, when you play trying to show somebody up or show up the officials or chatting with the officials or distracted by the officials, that's when this Magic team gets in a lot of trouble. And they found themselves in trouble Thursday night against the Heat. That's a down note. Let's do something uplifting. Let's talk about Tristan de Silva finding his way. Another big game for the Magic rookie. We'll get to that coming up here in just a moment. But first, today's episode of Locked On Magic is brought to you by our friends over at Robinhood. With Robinhood Gold, you don't need a silver spoon to eat up the financial favors of the 1%. Robinhood Gold allows others to get the rates and perks usually reserved for the high society. Now the resourceful individual with Robinhood Gold can earn the very liberal rate of 4.25% APY on uninvested cash and be rewarded with a handsome 3% retirement boost on IRA account contributions. Robinhood Gold provides the privileges of a high net worth for any net worth. These generous benefits are now available for only $5 a month. The new gold standard is here with Robinhood Gold. Sign up at Robinhood.com/gold. Terms apply for product-specific disclosures. Visit Robinhood.com/gold. Investing involves risk. Rates may change. Gold membership is offered by Robinhood Gold, LLC. When the Atlanta Magic made Tristan de Silva the 18th pick in the draft, we all expected to get someone very ready-made for the NBA. He was a senior, 23-year-old, as everyone likes to remind him. I don't think he's super comfortable with it. But at the end of the day, he's still a rookie. At the end of the day, he still needed time to get used to the NBA, to get up to speed in the league. And while there are a lot, and while the rap on him was that he would just fit in very seamlessly, that he was someone that wasn't going to do too much, that the Magic still needed to give him some time. And it was not clear whether he would be in the rotation. It wasn't clear, but Chance threw him into the fire pretty quickly. Chance put him in the crosshairs very, very quickly. And very, very quickly, too, Tristan de Silva has had to find his way. And at least since Franz Wagner's injury and his minutes have gone way up, Tristan de Silva indeed has found his way. I have the schedule in front of me. Magic are actually 2-3 on their current homestand. That doesn't sound right, but yeah. 2-3 on their current homestand. So there you go. Tristan de Silva has indeed found his way. In the 6 games entering Thursday's game against the Miami Heat, De Silva was averaging 12.5 points per game and shooting 45.2% from the floor and 35.7% from three. That included 20 points in the loss of the New York Knicks and backed up, and that's the loss of the New York Knicks last week, not this week, and backed up by 15 points against the Oklahoma City Thunder. He then added another solid game Monday against the Boston Celtics. He has 3 games of 15 or more points in his last 4 outings, hit the big shot against Boston, and then follow that up with 18 points in the Magic's loss to the Heat on Thursday, shooting 7 for 12 from the floor, 1 for 3 from 3, 6 rebounds. He did have 4 turnovers. Not going to deny that. Some mistakes were made. But De Silva has certainly improved every aspect. During the last 6 games before Thursday, De Silva had a usage rate of 19.3%. His touches went from 29.8 touches per game for the season to 36.5 per game during the last 6 games. What that says is the Magic trust De Silva more. And he is delivering for them in so many ways. Because he is not someone that's trying to force action too much. Starting to do it a little bit. 4 turnovers on Thursday. Not going to deny. A little bit of a struggle for everybody on the team. He is starting to be more aggressive, to be more to look more comfortable. But De Silva has been everything that the Magic believed he would be. A solid defender who, yes, needs to put on some NBA muscle. Not gonna sit here and deny that. A solid defender, a good team player, someone who fits in and finds his role and his place. He has been outstanding for the Magic. And now that he's gotten a taste of the NBA, now that he's been pushed to the front, he not only has the coaching staff's trust, but he is a security blanket for the team. I will note on Thursday's game, his plus 12 was the highest plus minus on the team. We'll get to this box score, talk a little bit about what happened specifically in Thursday's game, but let's start here. De Silva was really solid. He picked his spots, attacked when he needed to attack, moved the ball when he needed to move the ball, cut when he needed to cut, made a mistake, and then made up for it with a big steal and two-handed jam in that early part of the game. De Silva is everywhere and doing everything the Magic need him to do. And that's all you can expect from a rookie. You're not expecting a whole lot. Like I say this all the time, rookies are bad. This is the worst Tristan de Silva's ever going to be in the NBA if everything goes right. So make some mistake. It's okay that he's making a few mistakes, or there are things he needs to get better at, because he will get better at them. But it's an important time of the year. The early season stuff is done. Rotations are kind of set. Teams kind of know who they are at this point. There's still time to develop, still time to grow, still time to let guys blossom, but teams know who they are. De Silva, as most rookies do, needed that early part of the season to kind of get used to what the NBA life is like and what that means. Now he knows. And now that he knows, you can see him looking much more comfortable. You can see him looking like, oh, I know what I'm supposed to do here. Oh, I know what this read is. I know what the team needs from me in this moment. Oh, the ball swung to me. I know what to do. Everyone is taking notice of him. And the best part, the best compliment, the best thing the Magic could say about him is that he's a professional. He acts like a veteran. You tell him one thing, you tell him to do something, and he does it. Tristan de Silva has found his way and has become such a vital piece of this Orlando Magic team. And it's been fun to watch. It's a great takeaway from this game that Tristan de Silva is able to do this, because he's been stacking good games over and over again. I say this all the time. I don't think I've said that this year, but the regular season is about what you can do every night. What are you going to do on a random Tuesday in January? That's kind of the rallying cry. Tristan de Silva is starting to stack really good games on top of each other, to the point where you can trust him on a random Tuesday in January to give you the same thing he'll give you on a big game in December. Unfortunately, this one did not end up in a win. So let's do it. We're going to go through the box score, talk a little bit more specifically about what happened in Thursday's loss to the Heat. We'll get to that coming up here in just a moment. But first, today's episode of Locked On Magic is brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel. The NFL playoffs are almost here, but it's not too late to get in on the regular season action with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Because right now, new customers can finish the season strong with $250 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. The NBA is in full swing as well. A very successful Christmas. The Orlando Magic will close this, or not close this homestand. They still got 2 more games left on this homestand. Again, they're 2-3 on the homestand, so a big one here to try and make sure that they get a winning homestand. I think most of us, considering the injury to Franz Wagner, are going to be okay with the 3-4 homestand. The point right now, not to lose much ground, especially with Paolo coming back soon. The Magic, though, are 6.5-point underdogs at home to the New York Knicks. Big game against the Knicks on Friday. Major playoff implications as well. The Knicks can clinch the season series with a win on Friday. We'll see how the Magic respond to their loss against the Miami Heat. If you're looking for the NFL, which some people might be, even though they tried to take Christmas away from us, those Grinches, the NFL has great action and great odds, with the Jacksonville Jaguars favored by 1.5 over the Tennessee Titans, and your Tampa Bay Buccaneers 8.5-point favorites over the Carolina Panthers. The Dolphins 6.5-point road favorites over the Cleveland Browns. Just visit FanDuel.com to join today. That's FanDuel.com for your chance at $250 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Okay, let's run through the box scores. The Orlando Magic follow the Miami Heat 89-88, the lowest scoring game of the NBA season. Fun fact, Magic PR provided to us, the Orlando Magic have been involved in 4 of the 8 lowest total scoring games of the season, both teams combined. Magic love to play defense. This game was ugly. Both teams turned the ball over 20 plus times. Both teams scored more than 25 points or scored 25 or more points off turnovers. The Magic scored only 36 points in the second half. Miami only scored 48. We'll talk about the ways the Magic defense struggled, and they gave up 28 points in the fourth quarter, which is a problem. The Magic's defense did their job in this game. I don't want to hear too much slander. If you're giving up 89 points in the game, you need to win that game. And, I want to be very, very clear. There are a lot of reasons the Magic lost, and I'm going to get into a bunch of them here. The Magic should have won this game. They controlled this game from the jump. They led until the middle of the fourth quarter. They took the lead back. Obviously, Tyler Hero made a great shot. I'm not going to knock Tyler Hero's shot. That was a tough shot. Great defense by Trevelyan Queen. They lost on a tough shot. I can live with losing on a tough shot. What I can't live with is the way the Magic played the rest of the game. They came out guns a-blazing. They just came out on fire. They were there to make a statement that the Miami Heat don't run this state anymore. The Miami Heat are done. And honestly, the Heat probably are leaving Orlando saying, we got this one. That's a better team than us. And I would hope they would say that. They won the game. I'm not taking that away from them. Orlando still leads the season series 2-1. We'll see them again in a month, January 27th in Miami. I'm not taking anything away from them. They won the game. Kudos to them. But the Heat played some fantastic defense, really bottled up the Magic. But this game comes down to what the Magic do. This is very similar to the Oklahoma City game, where it's just more about what the Magic are doing and the mistakes they are making. I mentioned Jalen Suggs had 7 total turnovers. Orlando had 23 turnovers in the game. Miami scored 25 points off those turnovers. And you'll be saying, whoa, hold on, Phil. The Heat turned the ball over 21 times. The Magic scored 28 points off turnovers. That was a big part of the game, too. You're right. But here's the difference. The Heat are relatively healthy. Jimmy Butler's not playing. Big loss for them. Tyler Hero is still an all-star. Tyler Hero will probably be an all-star this year. Bam Adebayo has disappeared, but he's still an all-star level player. The Magic don't have the margin for error to turn the ball over this much. And look, Orlando's bottom 5 in the league in turnover rate. They turn the ball over a lot. Their defense bails them out. And if there's a common theme throughout all of the Magic's losses, if there's a common theme, it's usually the offense did not do enough for the defense. The defense did everything it could and just cracked because the offense couldn't give them a little bit of support. And so in this game, fourth quarter, you lose 28-17 in the fourth quarter, kind of a remix or mirror image of what we saw, not completely, but what we saw on Saturday when the Magic came back to win that game. So, Magic stole a game from Miami. Miami stole a game from Orlando. It's all good. We're even in the end. Orlando shot 6 for 18 from the floor in the fourth quarter. They're not going to make shots. They were 2 for 7 from 3. We'll get to 3-point shooting in a minute. Orlando had 6 turnovers for 8 points. When you're shooting that poorly, you cannot give possessions away. And Miami shot 10 for 20. They shot 5 for 8 from 3. Again, Alec Burks was 2 for 2 from 3. Alec Burks, noted Magic killer. They had 3 free throws on a foul early in the quarter. The Heat cracked the code. And because the Magic were missing shots and giving up possessions, they had to face the Heat in transition. And while Miami may not have scored a lot of transition points, it creates cross matches. It creates secondary break opportunities. It throws your defense off. Miami could not score on Orlando when their defense was set. Plain and simple. But Miami found shots. They made shots. Give them the credit for making the shots because Miami went 15 for 30 from 3. the Magic just could not keep up. Again, I talk about this a lot. It's not about the percentage. I don't care what the percentage is. What I care about is the raw number. It's about math. Miami made 15 threes. Orlando made 5. Orlando was 5 for 29. They took a lot of threes in the fourth quarter. I didn't like their shot selection in the fourth quarter, but they didn't settle for threes in this game for the most part. They did in the late stages of the game. I'm not going to deny that. The Heat were plus 30 on three-pointers. And Orlando missed some open threes, missed threes in critical spots. I thought Jalen Suggs especially settled for threes throughout the course of the fourth quarter. That's not going to get the job done. At the end of the day, the Magic were the better team. They shot better, 44.2% to 40.8%. They got to the line more, 15 for 18 against 12 for 14. They out-rebounded them. They got 9 offensive rebounds to 7. They had 13 second chance points to 7. They got out on the break more, even with all the turnovers, 18 to 13 in Magic's favor in fast break points. The Magic attacked the paint better. They were 44 to 24 in the paint. Miami actually shot only 12 for 37 in the paint. That's worse than 1 for 3. That's worse than 33.3%. Orlando locked out the paint. Miami just made threes. And because Orlando could not keep up and could not shoot well enough, and obviously they scored 36 points in the second half, could not shoot well enough, each one of those turnovers is a dagger. So yes, the shooting's a problem. They miss shots. The Magic can still win games when they don't make shots. I'm sorry. I know that's easy to say, and look, making shots would make everyone's life a whole lot easier. That's why they won the game on Monday against Boston. Making shots would make it so the Magic could turn the ball over this much. It doesn't matter if you're turning the ball over 23 times if you make 10 threes. If you make 5 more threes, that's 15 more points. You win the game by 12, 11, 10 points. You're comfortably ahead the entire game when things are going kind of rough. You score 100 points probably. The Magic need to make shots. I'm not going to sit here and ignore that aspect. The process is generally good. They missed a lot of open looks. They missed, I will say this. There are games where the Magic shoot this poorly from 3, and I think they just missed open looks. This game, I did not like their shot selection. I thought they needed to do a better job getting in the paint. They were indecisive going up against Miami zone. That hurt them. That hurt their flow. They were just out of rhythm all game long. After that initial burst, they were out of rhythm all game long. And again, the turnovers have a lot to do with that because you're not getting shots up. Got to get shots up. Plain and simple. The Magic just left a lot to be desired. And I think the game against Miami on Saturday was a lot about what the Magic did and how frenetic and how intense they were to get back in the game. It's a lot about Miami too, but there's a lot about the Magic. This game was a lot about the Magic too, and how their margin for error is just so small that they can't have all of these. They can't have 2 of these big dominoes not fall in their favor. Again, I can read off all the stats for you. The Magic won every category except three-point shooting. And that three-point shooting was the difference in the game. But because the Heat were shooting 3 so well, we got to focus on what the Magic can control. They could control their turnovers. They didn't turn the ball over. They turned the ball over a ton. They could control the assists. 14 assists, I would imagine not a lot more potential assists. It was a rough game for the Magic offensively, especially after how it started. Their defense just did not create enough offense for them, and they couldn't find relief when they needed it. There's one sequence where Corey Joseph got all the way to the basket, got a steal, got a fast break, saw Tyler Hero chasing him, slowed down, missed the layup. Anthony Black grabbed the rebound, kind of put a flip shot in. Bam Adebayo had already recovered back there, or someone had already recovered back there, blocked that shot. Orlando gets 0 points. There are these little moments where momentum turned against Orlando. And Orlando, frankly, just looked a little timid and unable to attack downhill. I would say this game is the first close game that the Magic have played where they really missed Paolo or Franz. Where the ball would be in Paolo's hands. And he may not get you the best shot. That's still a work in progress with him. but he'd slow the game down, calm everybody down, get them in the right spots, and they would get either a shot that you're comfortable with Paolo taking or get an open look for somebody else because he can bulldoze his way to the basket. There'd probably be a moment where he could just get to the foul line just to get a point on the board. Or Franz could get downhill, create something, and kick out for an open shot. The Magic don't have that right now. And again, it's not an excuse. The Magic should have won this game. It's not an excuse, but it is a reality. And I think if the Magic get Paolo or Franz, the Magic win this game. I don't think it's particularly close. I think they win comfortably. Again, Jalen Suggs, we're seeing his limitations. Maybe we already knew them, but we are seeing both his what makes him great and his limitations as well. I want to mention this too. The other factor in this game, the Magic just got very little off their bench. And Cole Anthony was 0 for 4 turnovers, really struggled in his minutes. Anthony Black was just 1 for 6, scored 2 points. Jonathan Isaac went scoreless. I don't really care how much Jonathan Isaac scores. Missed his only shot, but he's there for defense. His defense was pretty good. Wendell Carter was 1 for 6. I thought he did a good job getting into spots and getting into positions where he could score. He missed some early shots, and then he got very hesitant to get back into those spots and looked hesitant to go for his shots. He's got to shoot. That's the Magic are looking to replace Mo Wagner. Mo Wagner will always shoot. He does not care if he made or missed the last shot. He will always take the next shot. He'll always be aggressive looking for that next shot. Wendell Carter's got to get there, and that's always, I think, been the struggle with Dell. Corey Joseph came in, provided a little bit of stability with 5 points, but that's it. 12 points off the bench. Again, Alec Burks had 17. Terry Rozier had 14, did some good work in the fourth quarter there too. Nikola Jovic had 8, made 2 threes. The Magic they had to rely a lot on their starters to score. And everyone off their bench had a negative plus minus. All the starters had positive plus minuses, but again, the starters gave the game away in the fourth quarter or couldn't rescue the game in the fourth quarter, and that's ultimately why the Magic lost. The Orlando Magic fall to the Miami Heat 89-88. Back in action Friday at the Kia Center against the New York Knicks. But that's going to do it for me today. I want to thank you all again for listening to today's episode of Locked On Magic. Of course, find me on Twitter at @PhilipRR_OMD. Subscribe to the podcast on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, Himalaya, Google Play, Spotify, Odyssey, and all of them sell podcasts to your podcast-enabled listening device. For the latest on the Orlando Magic, be sure to check out OrlandoMagicDaily.com. You can find us there on Twitter at OMagicDaily. And for even more Orlando Magic content, be sure to check out my Patreon page, your Orlando Magic Hub, at patreon.com/Orlando Magic Hub. As always, thank you for your support. As if all that's not enough, you can now check out the Locked On Magic daily newsletter, the one-stop for ultimate team and league coverage delivered right to your inbox. Sign up for free now at LockedOnDaily.com. That's LockedOnDaily.com, and start your day with the all-new free Locked On Magic newsletter. That's going to do it for me today, though. I want to thank you all again for listening to today's episode of Locked On Magic. We'll be back tomorrow to recap the Magic's game against the New York Knicks. But until then, for Orlando Magic Daily and Locked On Magic, this has been Philip Rossman-Reich. We'll see you all again next time for another episode of Locked On Magic.